Welcome out, gamers and gamettes, to this RGL.GG Invite Highlander match. It is the end of Season 21, regular season at least, Week 7. We are here on Steel watching IDM match up against Dreamybull's Kitchen in a match with playoff implications on the line. I am Alto, joined to my side, man making his casting debut and intimately invested in the outcomes of this match, Colin to my side, and Dolphin behind the camera as always. Colin, how you doing tonight?
Hello, yes, it's. Am I live? Am I audible? Am I talking? You hear me?
Yep, you're good. You're
Yeah,
coming
it's
through.
it's good to be here. As someone who grew up figuratively watching like those old single-digit Highlander casts with you and Zagron and Rogue, it's good to be here. It's making me have big feelings, moderately large size feelings. It's good to be here. It'd
We're
be a
all
lot of
gonna
fun.
make it. We're all gonna make it.
Well,
As that
speaking of
said,
making it,
yep, there you
so
go.
my
Great
team,
segue.
BBC, they're making playoffs hinges on the outcome of this match.
Yes, as IDM are looking to play for their spot in playoffs, definitely the underdogs in this matchup. But their destiny is in their own hands right now. BBC, you guys had a bye week this week, right, Colin?
Correct.
So sitting at 4-3, and IDM sitting at 3-3, but the match points are tied. So should IDM take the win, they will jump ahead. The tied in wins have more match points, take that fourth spot. However, should Dreamybull's Kitchen win, they will be able to seize the second seed going into playoffs against Death or Exile, who would be third. And having that extra map advantage when you're playing a team as close as those two are, as we got to see in the phenomenal cast last week, means a lot. So a lot up for stakes tonight. Maybe a little bit more for IDM than DK, but should be good. And I think if Colin's got any bias in his casting, I think we can understand
No,
why.
I would never express bias. I'm perfectly impartial.
Good to hear. Then let's run through the rosters. I'll take IDM. It will be Townsy on Scout, Davey C on Soldier, Leaf on Pyro, Squid on Demo. Looks like Chalk going to be coming in on Heavy in Week 7, Hardhat Jones on Engineer, Alex on Medic, Arbiter on Sniper, and Taiga on Spy.
For Dreamybull's Kitchen, we have RJB and Har on Scout, Lenny on Soldier, Melon on Pyro, BBC Crump on the Doorman slot, Deleted Taters, as always, on Heavy, Constant on Engineer, Cats on Medic, Brian on Sniper, and Lucky on Spy.
Yep, and coming into this, as we said, rosters, just looking at the win-loss between these two teams, right? Have to imagine DK's got to be the favorite here. They had that win over DOE last week. But, Colin, I'll throw it over to you, as it looks like we're finally getting people joining.
Steel. Anything could happen. This is a map that plays a little differently than most of the maps in the pool. It doesn't really necessarily reward it rewards, I would say, team play more than individual play, more than any other map in the pool, would be my take on it.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think, the spy comms are going to factor a lot into that, how well combo main classing goes, so, looking at Chalk on the side of IDM, gotta figure, having a little bit of a difference in the combo, maybe something to be concerned about, but I'm looking personally at kind of the matchup to look at is Crump versus Squid. I think IDM has a number of players, we saw coming in to invite that, haven't quite crossed that high invite boundary. Chalk obviously ringing going to be an exception to that, as is Townsy, but Squid was someone earlier in the season in some of IDM's matches that may have let them, get into either playoffs or better seeding. Someone who looked to me to be a little bit outmatched by some of the higher tier of player within invite.
Is this
Crump
Squid's
someone,
first invite season?
I believe it is, yes.
Yeah. I will just say, I'm a Squid dick rider. I don't think I've ever told him this before, but I've been playing against him in lower divs for a couple seasons now, and he's consistently been one of the best man in those divs, the scariest ones to go against. Maybe he's not outclassing everyone in invite, but he's definitely not a slouch of a player either.
No, not by any means, but there's a difference between being an excellent player in advanced and then getting to play against kind of all those legends you mentioned leading in, right? When you're playing against Exile, when you're playing against the top teams in invite, while some of the other players in IDM, it looked like we're kind of ready to the task. I think Squid's still going through some growing pains in terms of adapting to that upper end of talent. And with Crump having shown up so big in last week's match against Death or Exile, I'm feeling that's going to be maybe the spot where the kind of the seesaw swings pretty heavily in favor of DK. But on the flip side, I think there's good things in store for IDM if Squid's able to clutch up and show the growth he's been able to put together all season.
Yeah, I agree. I think DK is the favorite here, but granted, they'd had a really strong performance last week. If they hadn't won that product match, I don't know who I'd put my money on right now. And it was a close match.
Yeah, and looking into Brian versus Arbiter, I mean, Brian's likely going to have the better team surrounding him, but that's a matchup that, in a vacuum, I think I might lean towards Arbiter a little bit, more invite experience at a little bit of a higher level, so that's easily something that can be flipped. We've seen some pretty good performances out of Taiga, a little bit streaky on the Spy, but, the play is there. Townsy, unfortunately, this is Steel, right? So not the greatest scout map.
No, Townsy, he started this season on Pyro, right? So they swapped him over to Scout.
Yes, wanted to give
but
him
they're
a little bit more
bringing a leap on Pyro. Is a pretty solid pick. Very definite Pyro main with a lot of experience in invite, despite being a relatively newer player.
Yep. So
are there any ringers on the side of DK? Is Lenny their main soldier?
No, it was Billy Boy last week. So
right.
Hard to call. Lenny's been at the top, but that's more been primarily on Sniper. I don't think you're gonna see any kind of egregious misplays from Lenny. Incredibly solid player, but Billy Boy, I think maybe a little bit more experience on specifically Soldier, so could be an area for Davey C to kind of sneak in and take advantage of someone who might not be fully revved up on Soldier. Melon coming in on Pyro, I doubt gonna have any issues. She's been playing that class forever, so shouldn't be too many holes there. But yeah, also going to be looking at Chalk coming in on IDM, as I think believe it's been thick on heavy. I want to say, I feel like I might be completely wrong on that, but that's the name coming to mind. Who had, I thought, been playing really well this season in all the matches we saw IDM cast, but Chalk is a legend for a reason. So there's definitely avenues for IDM here to compete with. And with Steel being so potentially snowbally, all it takes is Arbiter or Taiga really, finding some good picks, and the rest of the combo being able to snowball, and suddenly IDM can find themselves coming out with a really quick hook.
That's one way to think about it, but the head-to-head may not be as important on Steel, which is more of a team coordination map and less of a DM map. Let's say you're like the team that's less favored to win on Steel. Are there any strategies you want to employ more than others? But you think you can't take them into head-to-head?
The way that I think about Stopwatch in general and Steel especially is that, compared to a Koth, right? Koth requires you to play well for a long period of time. Stopwatch really requires you to play well for one moment and then grab that momentum and roll with it.
This is true.
So
I'm thinking of my casted match on Vigil.
Absolutely, where you guys had 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes to push last, but you got some ads coming off of second, I think, into third, and were able to just completely snowball that through. It's about trying to find those moments, and I think what that means to me in a more kind of material sense is you need your pick classes to really be in sync with the rest of the team. There are some snipers as we start to go live here, even in Invite, that I feel like are kind of separate from the rest of the team. Like they're playing a point-and-click adventure game and everyone else is playing TF2.
You want to name some names?
No, I don't, actually. What I will say is that if you all remember Fallen Lord on Sniper, he was like that for a while. Even when he was one of the best snipers in the game, and he'll be the first to admit this, didn't really get the entirety of, the rotations, the combo movements the same way as, a demo player might. And it wasn't until I think he really started picking up on a lot of those that he was able to play in a way that let his team help himself, and he could really position himself best to get frags. And coincidentally, that's when he finally was able to get a first place badge on Memento Mori back in season 6, season 7 or so. So, there's definitely room to be there.
Sniper,
but yeah, looking for Arbiter and Tiger to really be locked in and you know, being able to capitalize off of any pressure. But we are live. Going to be DK, no, excuse me, there's going to be IDM on the blue side starting out, DK on the red. Bunch of pressure coming out onto A. Lucky will take a little bit of damage, but is still successfully hidden on the A point. So getting these important comms, that Squid, Leaf going back to spawn. You know, they have an engineer on the Eureka effect, but no beam. So that'll inform how the rest of the red flank plays, and now we move into B pressure.
Yeah, blue is opted to just kind of wait it out while they're getting the cap up. So they still have to clear upper. They're still looking to maybe go for a sack. Oh, they get the early crit stick on Squid. That's, even though it's only a 10-second spawn, that's annoying.
Yep, and Arbiter already going for the drop-down shots. Goes for one, does not land it on Cats. Gonna be Brian taking out Chalk as well in that tunnel. Hard Hat's level 3, gonna go down as well. So really not too much to build off of on the B side, but if you take a look on the flank.
Yeah, Leaf is going behind. Leaf is not on his combo right now. He's taking his engineer all the way back to Wishbone. Normally you'd see Pyro on combo pretty much all the time, any map. But Leaf is opting to bodyguard this telly going up back here. That's quite something.
Yep, Hard Hat's got the telly exit up. He has the gun as well. He's building it. Didn't bring it in from spawn because it went down, but still getting that setup behind.
Yeah, blue is really dedicated for this hard flank for teleporter. And where's it coming out?
And I think this is fine, actually. You're popping this Uber just to cycle it off of the red team. You know that Hard Hat's getting set up on C. Flankers are going to start coming in. You're already starting to get people in Wishbone behind them. Davy's in position. Lucky going to maybe try to get Hard Hat, but gets discovered out right there.
Good play from Hard Hat. That could have gone very poorly.
Davy's going to jump back to help.
One Hard Hat shaped basket that could have gone very poorly for him.
But yeah, you want to cycle that Uber, right? So that when a potential pinch comes in, you know, red doesn't have that option. And you're seeing a little bit more pressure coming through. They did manage to clear DT out of upper, so Chalk's taking up that upper spot. Arbiter looking to get some shots off of the balcony. Counter jump coming in from Lenny to force back the sniper. And play the wall against Chalk will take him out. So kills now Squid as well. Townsy going to be next.
Oh,
but
big
Tyga
2K.
coming in. DT and Brian, excuse me, going to get taken out.
And Townsy's just taking the beam and the flanks running him over. Even with the banner, they can't save this.
Yep, exactly what we were talking about, needing those pick classes to come in at the right time. Looked like things were going in favor of DK with Chalk getting taken out of upper, but Kyle swings the fight, and then Davey C with that extra pressure coming in from the flank.
A nuke coming in from behind. That's the strength of the teleporter on C. Lets him get a really easy flank off without having to rotate all the way through the E cap in front of the enemy spawns. Blue's coming in here with full ad on this C, and they've completely out-rotated red was on the long spawn, so this C cap should be entirely free. Now we have to make a decision here. If we're blue, if we're going to Death Hall, we are back to E. And it's looking to be death.
Yep, it's going to get scouted out right there by Snowy, so no surprises here. Tyga gets caught out, and they're going to look to drop down. No one really in sight right now.
Scouty goes down for it, and they out-rotated again. Full Uber, all the positioning, there's no way back in for red. They're forced to just see 2 points in a row, and still they're holding ad.
They're rotating back up to the high ground here, which is something I'm not super familiar with. Normally you'd just be content to hold it in lobby. Club's gonna start getting juggled. The Uber now gets popped out, pushing into E, but Lucky finds Chalk on D, and the D pressure is coming through. They've given up D in exchange for E, but Squid in a bit of an awkward spot. They're gonna rotate back off to now to just start pathing E as the Uber did get forced out from DK. That's gonna be big, not having that Uber for much longer here. But Nines taken out on the flank by Lenny, Townsy as well, and I think that may be the leg kind of into this defense that DK needs.
But those spawns are so good, and Hard Hat has the teleporter up. It's like doesn't even matter with you guys.
Tyga coming in, finds another 2. Bunch of 1v1s, 1 on other sides. DT gets taken out by Squid, and that's looking like a potential cap right here. Only Lenny and Consta up, so...
Yeah, red has maybe one more fight in them. If they're smart about this and sync their spawns up, they have maybe one more attempt.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to get there. They're all just spawning. Got Snellin's going to spot out Tyga in C. DT, though, pushing in on his own, goes down without doing much. Snowy now trying to feed in from the DE corridor, but it's not going to happen. IDM.
IDM, I'm pretty happy about that one.
Yeah, you maybe not so much, but...
Oh, yeah. I'm just getting lost in the game right now. But, yeah, I think IDM they took it slow and steady on B. You know, they even waited to clear upper a little, but they did get the push off, so their strategy did work. They set it up, they took the time, and it paid dividends. And then they managed to also completely out-rotate with their ad on C and D, got those for free, and then E, I thought maybe after that first kill on 9s, they wouldn't be able to get back into it immediately, but the teleporter, the smart team play, the long defense spawns, they cleaned it up. I think they're feeling pretty good about this.
Yeah, DK did something I'm not familiar about, where a lot of the times, you know, if you have Uber disad, you're giving up C, right? You want your combo in lobby, and even if they go death, you can keep your demo kind of in the cave area of, like, lobby into D, get some spam out, make sure they force that Uber, and then if they even decide to use in, you play with your pyro, you kite back into lobby. It's very difficult to get a chase down there. Instead, they chose to rotate back into E, went through spawn, climbed up on top of D, and came back down, but they got the road Uber forced in the process, and it just felt like you gave up lobby for free, and they were never able to really get a good hold up after they lost B.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I wish DK had gone for some sort of play just to try to poke out a force on the medic there, so they wouldn't have to keep kiting the disad. But we're looking at offense now.
Yep, and I mean, 4:38, not a slow time by any means, but we've seen faster on if a miracle happens on any match, it's easy to steal. Lucky, just Dragon Force through the fire and the flames, makes it through at the perfect gap in the flames from Leaf right there. Finds Arbiter, which should open up a lot of B pressure early. And that will be the Ubers coming out right there. Gonna be Leaf just denying them in the tunnel, so no real space gain. Davey and Chalk both in upper right now, so it is only Townsy and Lucky now on the flank. No, excuse me, Taiga on the flank, and they're going to take out Townsy, so potential for Conf to get free reign kind of back here in depth, just the spy. Maybe looking to chase him out, but he'll run out, hopefully get that pack and
now,
get the
this is
telly set up
interesting.
behind.
The blue flank isn't going for a setup play behind. They're not flanking, they're not getting a telly up, they're just going for some cap time.
Oh, they will. Consta's in that C side, but look, Leaf and Arbiter are the ones rotating. No combo. They're bringing the sniper there, and it's going to find Snowy. Consta taken out by Leaf as well, and the back telly's been stopped. A weird sequence of events back there, but Lucky going in, gets the sap on the gun. Tater's back on the B side. Taters helps take it out, and they are flooding out of tunnel right now. Cat's just about to have Uber 9s already with. DK going in, Melon gets blown off the face of the earth though. Crump's gonna be forced
It's
to
just
be the
Crump.
old
It's just Crump in the Uber. It's just him.
Yeah, they have a longer Uber, but they don't have the players
won't matter.
to support it.
They're getting forced out again.
No
They reset. There's no gun on Reds. They can still get back into some good spawns, but
Yep,
it would have
Upper
been
is
so nice
free
to have
too.
Snowy in there with Crump.
Yep, Snowy and Lenny now messing around behind, but Arbiter again, being the one rotating, finds the shot onto Snowy. That E pressure is no more, and the banner popped out from Davey, helping a lot of factors. From Melon goes down again. Crump gonna be next. Consta's gun not like for the world either, and it feels like they're just not able to leverage this upper balcony area to the same extent that IDM was.
What I've noticed is that blue flank isn't really coming in from behind like Davey C and his flank was. They're just going for some cap time on E, but every time Arbiter just rotates and gets a kill, then rotates back. It's not sticking.
Yeah, just the fact that Taiga's been able to stay alive on this Dead Ringer in the back spawn has been such a nuisance to Consta. He's never been able to get anything set up, and like, yeah, look, Lenny pops the DR, but he just runs back in, you know, refreshes it, gonna come back out, and yeah, there's an Uber now popped out on E from the side of DK, but Melon, he can't walk in there with the enemy team as a pyro. Lucky coming in, finds Arbiter, but already gonna find Melon blasted into the pit. DT gets taken out in front of the spawn doors. It's just Cats.
Nice, not even
Snowy
needing to
right
pop
here.
there. Well,
Yeah,
the Uber.
exactly.
Kind of a disaster for blue. I think this is with a minute left. This is not over, but it's gonna be very hard to get back in here. If not,
Yeah, reminder, it's a 30-second minimum cap time with ×5 onto the E point, so the pressure on DK, they know they don't have time for anything else, but the entirety of the Red Armory is set up in Wishbone right now. You got a level 2 gun, all of the combo set up. Lucky not gonna find anything. That's kind of your one miracle play. They're gonna walk out right now, look to flush the board a bit. Taiga coming in, finds the stab onto Snowy, gonna get the revolver kill onto Cats as well. And
that's curtains.
that looks yet to be curtains for the round here. IDM, you know, in the match, they need to win to make playoffs here. Gonna come out and find the first half.
I have to say, I'm pretty surprised that IDM not only won, but won with a pretty commanding performance.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say I'm disappointed in how DK played so far. They have looked. I mean, I know you are because you've got a horse in this race. From what this team looks entirely different than the team we saw last week on product against Death or Exile. I know Steel is a map that, you know, a little bit kind of harder to learn, but really just out of sorts. Like, that rotate to try to climb on D completely backfired. Their offense has been completely just out of sorts as well. I mean, there was only the Scout and the Spy who were defending the back flank, right? They got the kill onto Townsy immediately. It's just Tiger. And then it looked like Lenny and Snowy just left Consta on his own, didn't bodyguard him. He wasn't allowed to set up anything behind. You don't get any pressure. You're not able to generate anything. You know, they went for the E-cap time, which clearly not, you know, there's your, like, experimental results, right? E-cap time not as valuable as escorting your NG to get the back time.
I couldn't agree more on that. It's exactly what I want to focus on. The E-cap, it just takes a really long time. What did you say, 30 seconds?
30 seconds minimum with a ×5. It's up to 70, I think, with a ×1.
Just a soldier or a scout on there is not going to really actually threaten more than one rotate, and they have plenty of time to make that rotate, you know, with a really long cap time. And the rotate's also very safe, so you can shoot it from spawn, or you could shoot it from Wishbone, and Arbiter was in there with his Pyro, and you're never going to kill him when he's in there with his Pyro and the health pack. So I think it was maybe a little off-timer as well, the attempted caps, but also I would prefer to see a wrap. You know, IDM flank came in big and cleaned up a fight that could have gone either way, but DK flank kind of got stuck on E.
Yeah, and on the kind of new strategies, you know, DK's climb attempt was not what I liked. I did like seeing just the Pyro and the Sniper rotate there.
I'm not sure if by D climb you mean their recontest.
Yeah, where they, instead of kiting that death push back into lobby, they went into E and climbed back up through spawn.
Yeah.
But I'm interested that Pyro Sniper being the ones to rotate Wishbone's not something I've seen much recently. And I'm interested in it because on paper to me it feels good because you don't have to move your gun, you don't have to move your combo, you still maintain pressure on B. And, you know, a sniper in Wishbone with a Pyro on him, he's not going to get stabbed, he's got the range advantage, he's able to shoot people off of point. I'm just a little concerned that, you know, if DK's flank had been more cohesive, you know, they had guarded Consta, let him get the telly up, and then pushed into Wishbone as 3, right? You know, as that scout, soldier, engineer, a Pyro's not saving your sniper there.
Yeah. But I think Leaf knew that's what they were doing, and he's clearly not afraid to leave his combo to his own devices. He was escorting his own engineer when he was on offense. Yeah,
exactly.
They could have been punished for that, but they weren't, so...
Yeah, Taiga's alive the entire time. He was tracking Consta, like getting constant vision on him, constant harassment, making sure he was not able to get that telly up. And I mean, you know, it's to me it kind of looks bad on DK's flank because you're letting your engineer fight a spy who's got access to a resupply room while you're sitting on point getting sniped. Like, ignore the cap time, truly escort your engineer, let him get the telly up, and maybe you make it past B.
I agree.
So, I think Dolphins got logs up on stream, which we haven't really been talking. You know, that quick of a match, you're not really gonna find too much. Oh, Dolphin just took them away. Dolphin, could you pull those back up? Take a little bit of time to talk about them. Yeah, so I said to keep an eye on Squid. And what does he do? 10-2. Chalk also coming in huge on the 10-4. Taiga on the 10-6. You know, bunch of players all dropping those 10 kills. Just really, really good performances. 10 kills on Spy in this short
steal, yeah,
of a round.
Pretty positive too.
Is really good to see. Davey C 5-1, only the one death, consistently getting those banners on defense. You know, and just we're going live here, so not too much time on the stats, but DK has a lot to improve on here.
And DK once again in the hot seat on offense. I wonder how much they're playing around their flank though. Are they thinking about it as like a definitive part of a winning strategy, or just like an attempt, a gamble, an option? I feel like they're just trying to fish for a win on two fronts when I wish they'd just be committing to get a win on run front. Yeah.
Yeah, and something else, I mean, to praise IDM for, I love sending Leaf behind as well. Anyone who's had the pleasure of having me ring on Pyro and feed with the jetpack knows that I don't think very highly of Pyro's life. And having your Pyro sit in tunnel to, like, shoot flares is, like, what's the point? You know,
your med's not gonna get stabbed in the spawn room.
Yeah, worst case, your, Pyro gets killed when he's helping your NG get set up. And then he just respawns and he shoots flares out anyway, so it's a lot easier. I think it's a lot better place to have your Pyro get behind, commit that life. You're gonna have him feed in at any point, right? And he's up 8 seconds later.
It also shows that he trusts his combo not to implode without him.
Yeah, a lot of medics. I don't know if you can do that, but Lucky really want to turn things off the bat. Finds Chalk and DayZ in upper right off the bat.
Did he take Telly? That was pretty brutal.
I think he must have, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not sure there's going to be too much to capitalize off of it.
I want to see
trying to get
run
this
in fast. Crumps in. Oh, he doesn't have beam on him, though. I guess they're just taking the chance to kill a teleporter for free.
Yep, that'll be that.
But that is a much faster Telly kill than last round, though. Oh, an Arbiter goes down. If you're blue, you gotta
that was on the
about
flank
this.
side, even. Not quite sure where that was. No, that was on B, but Lucky gonna get caught out again as the Ubers come out on
And
D, though.
Dead. That's really bad if you're IDM.
Yeah, definitely. No NG means this gun is only, it's only got a matter of time. No one getting an angle on it yet, but still
They're
hard
safe for the moment, though. Cat's going down. Blue forced to wait on this.
And Lucky, despite those 2 frags early, has gotten caught 3 times in a row now. Unable to get in. Hardhat able to get in and save the gun.
Wait, Crump just got 2 kills by trapping upper. He trapped it, he got bombed twice, and got a kill twice. That's actually incredible. That needs to be eclipsed.
Yep, and that's just going to be Chip coming onto the
Really
gun.
good
The Wrangler shield is nothing
there.
for it.
Wow.
Yep, Townsy takes out Lenny, but actually the flankers are going over in favor of them, but Arbiter going to be the one taken down right there. So no sniper stopping the blue combo from pushing up B right now. Lucky in potentially position, going for the decloak. It's a sap on the gun. Gonna try to get Hardhat, but the glow stick takes him out. Hardhat though burns out. As the Uber now coming out from red. Gonna see kills starting to come over. Snowy and DT down. DayZ will go, but leaving Trump will be the next trades. So position reestablished for IDM.
And Cats live, so those trades aren't gonna matter that much for blue team here. I mean, those good spawns will come back in with full ad in a second.
Yep, Lenny up on the cliff, getting some good rockets onto Arbiter, but a better headshot onto Lenny. Gonna help take him out with the help of Squid. But Townsy a little bit too aggressive with those sightlines. The repush now coming in. Davey with the bomb. Uber comes out, though. He gets hard denied coming in from the Pyro, and that's going to be a massacre in favor of DK.
But again, Red Med lives. They're leapfrogging, in a sense. Looking at 80 ad, roughly. 70 ad, maybe.
Yep, doesn't mean too much when you're on defense, thankfully for the offensive side. You're not going to really be looking for too many offensive pushes. Coming out of IDM, I don't think that's something they'd want to risk given the stakes of this match. But look, Crump and Lenny getting aggro into D. They're not even saying, they're forgetting about C. The ABE pressure coming in right now.
They ought to go for the AE push. They already have Lenny up in heaven. Trump looking at spawn doors. But of course, Red is Uber, which forces Lewis to kite out to lobby. It's not a great place to be here through the offense.
No, it depends on what they do with it, though. Yeah, but Cats gets taken down, actually. Squid finds the long-range sticky to snipe Cats out, and that's going to be the big kill right there. If you're able to leapfrog those Ubers, you're in a much better situation right now. But Cats just a little bit too slow, but
Nice going down.
Feeding into the wishbone, finds the medic, the lone engineer, salvaging things for the team, and now they've got a decent lobby setup already. Hardhat's dead. It's going to be Leaf next. You've got Brian set up here. Captime's starting to come in. I'd love to see Crump jump over to the spawn right here, get some stickies up, try to get a trap kill. but they're just going to rotate into Wishbone. Lucky finding Chalk on his
They
own.
can have E if they want it.
I think they're just going to use the pressure to get C,
Smart,
but
safe
they got the aggro on two front. That said, you're going to lose Brian. That's going to hurt. Melon goes down next, but successfully able to convert that into a C cap, it looks like. So, C coming through, 419. You know, not quite the 438 E cap we saw out of IDM, but better than their performance last time. And Hardhat's now got the level 1 up in heaven, starting to get set up. The rest of the team is with him. Bomb, though, coming in from Lenny. Wrangled Guns not going to stop him, and they're able to trade out for Davey. But no other pressure really in a good spot to get up there.
Yeah, this Wish walkout can be so hard for the blue team. They have no angles, and everything's looking at you on that one small door. You get pushed off. They're down 2. They're not looking to use the Uber. They get forced, I think, maybe miscommunication. And it's just Crump in alone.
And Cats into the pit! They're both. I think Crump just jumped in afterwards. He knew he was cooked. And yeah, I'm beginning to think it's always such an awkward situation after you cap C if you're not going death, right? Because that walkout onto E is so hard when there's players there. I'm beginning to think your better option is have your med run out with someone, everyone else sacks in. Your med runs out to spawn and start going lobby.
Like the gun getting wrangled at you, it's a lot of knockback. One sticky, you know, one wayward air blast, and you're all going to the pit.
Yeah, exactly. Such a dangerous push. You need so much to go right. But it's now rotated over to lobby side. Nines, though, has full Uber. Good pressure coming in right now from that blue Pyro to get damage in there. Oh, trying to open up space. They will get the Uber forced out.
What the? Melon lived forever in that. Melon's still alive.
Stays there.
Melon's gonna be on the medic. Melon.
Both Pyros.
She got behind force and got the med kill.
Yeah, we need an instant replay of that. But while Melon's doing that, Leaf goes in and finds 3 on his own, finds Cats and the rest of the combo. So both Pyros finding the meds. But with a Telly close on A, these spawns may be favoring DK right now. They're getting in a lot of pressure on D. It's going to be Melon getting sniped out, but they have combo presence here. Crump's got stickies on the shutter. Not sure if those are called. Yep, gonna dead. There goes Townsy.
One. He nearly gets 2. Squid going down to less than 50 health there.
Arbiter almost dies to go out, survives on just a sliver of health, but the decap comes across. 6:38 is the time, and now suddenly Nines is trapped in the little baby door at 57 HP.
No. Does Blue know? Does Blue know?
Dropping down into hell to meet up with the combo. That's a heads-up play. Knowing that your med's stuck, they gotta rotate
but
around.
That means that everyone in heaven is being left on the try, and the gun goes down. Hardhat Jones is only able to escape by some witchcraft, I think.
I think he had an exit telly. Yeah, he had an exit telly over to D, it looks like. But still, yeah, that's just gonna give up all the E pressure there. That decap coming in. Arbiter peeking down from hell. Does he find anyone? Now, I think there was a body shot, but no. His position's given away.
No,
now Squid dies.
He got engineered! He got funny sentry. There's a gun in the back of Wishbone on the health pack, and Squid didn't see it, and it killed him.
Yeah, the Uber is going to launch Catapult Leaf in on the point, and now the Ubers are just staring at each other. It's going to clear the point because they're afraid of the air blast. Constant's going to be a sacrifice to the pit god, but frags are heavy on both sides right now.
It's complete chaos out here.
Yeah, and it looks like the point has stopped being kept for now, but Taters is up in heaven. Squids, though, got the Wishbone control right now, so I think the fire is temporarily out as we see a pause.
Oh, man. Okay.
Oh, is this attack? We gotta know, is this attack?
Has to be, right? Blue wins this fight, and then attack pause comes out.
Tech pause for Arbiter, which means we know absolutely nothing about how this round turns out.
Well, I don't know.
Could be capped in 20, could be capped in a minute 30, could be capped not at all.
That complete chaos, like Uber and post fight on point, a lot of trades going out. Even the med Nines is still dead right now, and I think it's overall favors Blue. They have a telly, and based on like the just looking at the animation, I think it's a level 3. It's gonna really get these Blue players back into the fight really quickly. And Red has no gun up, they have no positioning, and they're missing half their team. So Blue should be able to very easily establish presence on point and on various angles before Red can really even respawn in here. They should be favored to win this next fight, considering it's dry at basically no Uber.
Yeah, the one thing to look out for though is that Squid has Wishbone locked down. So that's going to allow some of the rest of the team to rotate there. Crump and Taters are very separated from the rest of the team. You've got Davey C pushing out into A. I think he has to have been spotted there. Judging by the amount of Gibbs there, people probably know he's hiding in that area. But Davey C is very close to finding himself a med pick right now. And if the spawners on IDM are able to collapse onto Crump and Taters before they get team support, this suddenly flips right back in favor of the defense.
Trump is almost certainly dead, right? This is the freest kill for Townsy ever.
How fast can Taters get out of and start shooting him, I guess, is really the question here. I mean, Crump shoots a sticky maybe right at his feet here, and it's going to hit Townsy a little, you'd have to imagine, as he's coming around. But, you know, the pause isn't actually here in live. So,
yeah,
you know, they're not
point.
looking at this. This is happening in real time. So, if Taters is able to survive and keep that heaven pressure for the rest of the team to get back in, things go well. But if Squid pushes up, looks to, you know, either Townsy or Squid catches Crump out, I think it's going to be easy enough to collapse in on Taters.
If you're blue here, you want to be living long enough to like return to your spawners and group with them. If you're red, you want to be like, you know, maybe getting the kill on a feeder and getting out. All the way out.
Yeah, interesting to see what Red's move is going to be here, because with Squid's position, you have to imagine they want to favor Wishbone side, which I think is probably the safer play, but Wishbone is just not as good of a hold as it is if you could stay in lobby. Going to be hard for them to get back in that, though. But Crump and Taters go down, suddenly you might be able to reestablish lobby control. Then things look really bad if you're DK.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think Blue's going to have players, maybe if Cats dies, but Blue's going to have players just running out through A off the telly like ants just coming out of a hole in the wall. Like, Red's not going to be able to really get over there and stem the tide with the state they're in right now.
Hard to tell without knowing the spawn timers, because they've all kind of ticked down during the setup. I mean, if Chalk comes back up soon, Crump and Taters go down. Squid just needs to jump over to DE side. Oh, getting the unpause, so we'll see soon enough. We are live. Crump, yep, Townsy looking to chase him out. Will find Crump. Taters get sniped out, though. So Arbiter lands the shot. Taiga counter espionage onto Lucky. The rest of Blue now trying to get onto the ECAP, but I'm not quite sure they have the numbers. Squid finds Consta as well, so this level 1 gonna be his dying gift. They pick up the kill onto Squid, which could be big. Taiga, though, on the point, finds Brian, and you can't let that happen. The cap goes through, though. That was closer than we thought it was.
That was very fast.
Yeah, I think the cap time had fully decayed for us due to the pause.
Yeah, that must
so
have
we
been
were
it. I was like, what the
expecting
fuck?
that it was gonna be. Yeah, I'm like, wait a second, they've been on that for 4 seconds. I just hit a retry. 8:16 will be the final time. So, you know, you're looking at almost double what we saw out of the side of IDM, but hopefully DK knows what they've done wrong. They just had a pause. You know, so yes, that was a tech pause, but they were definitely discussing strategy. It's either still during the setup or right after it.
You'd be a fool not to. Yes, yes.
So you gotta stop hard hat. That's the first rule here.
I was about to say the same thing. I think Hard Hat's like the Loki the MVP here. On offense, he's getting that telly to see to enable the wrap. On defense, he's not on defense. On offense again, he's like keeping level 3 up when his team's pushing other points, not B. Like the telly to lobby. Or the telly to A, that was giving his team such fast respawns. Kind of the MVP on offense.
Yeah, and I mean part of that
Secret
is
MVP, quiet MVP.
The control point is being captured.
as yep, A-cap coming across right now. Lucky though gets found out this.
AVC dropping a little taunt there. I think that's fair.
So, gonna see. Looks like, ooh, we see Brian now set up in the E spawn, looking to maybe get a kill on someone pushing
One
in here.
engineer kill and he's cooked.
Already on to Leaf.
Gets leave. But Hard Hat is through the rotate unscathed, so the main core of this plan has not been stopped yet.
It looks like a sack happened on B while we've been watching this. No,
I like
no
that.
success.
You may as well sack what is happening here. You may as well go for a sack, or even an exchange was all getting set up. Otherwise, you're just kind of wasting time. Oh no, the flank's coming in. They don't know. The reserve shooter poking Townsy, and he's down to Snowy. It's just Hard Hat, and he's just gonna get picked off. It's over.
Yep, Lenny's gonna find him. Yep, much better adaptation coming in from the side of DK right now. They're clearing out this flank pressure, not gonna let them get set up.
But he's gonna get cleaned up too here in a moment, I assume.
Does he? I don't even know. So he's gonna survive right now. So Leaf going to find Lenny. So no soldier right there. And now Taiga coming in from behind.
Going in!
Opening up the solo pyro flank right now, but Konsta's got the glow stick, sends him flying back. Leaf not gonna find too much there.
It's interesting that we get to see what happens to IDM when the plan falls apart, when things don't go their way. Will they be able to adapt? They're adapting. Davies just got cast. I'll take it all back.
Yeah, Crumb's gonna go down too, but the rest of the kills all going heavily in favor of DK, and they're gonna find Nines as well. Hard Hat's gonna be next. Townsy trying to clean anyone else up, but it's almost a full wipe coming in for DK, so they lose their med. A few other players right now, and it looks like Nines will be up slightly before Cat, so you're probably gonna be looking at about a 10% ad.
Red is forced to leave. They just can't contest the respawns, and they have no gun up
Wow.
either.
They lose the positioning, but Davey coming in gets levitated. Doesn't actually take that much damage. So it's a tough call right now for Red if they want to bust out here to try to counteract this. Already one kill onto Townsy. Tiger goes down as well. Davey's gonna be next. They may choose to bust out here, but Chalk has so much space he's gonna force Crump back, and no, that's gonna be BCAP going over in favor of IDM. Eventually.
Yeah, I was about to say, you ahead of me? They're still fighting for it. They only have Leaf on there.
Oh, and they're looking at Snowy tries to bust out, but yeah, Chalk is just controlling so much space here. If you can't take him out, you're not going to get it, and yep, they're finally backed up, forced to take the back spawn, but you're looking at about 3.5 minutes right now through B, which isn't terrible. You'll have to see how well this C cap goes, both teams with Uber right now.
But you don't want to be using that low ground door. Actually, looking at E, they get the Heaven Wipe. Engine Sniper down with gun 2. And they're even gonna get Snowy to boot. He's rotating in a little too eagerly.
Absolutely huge collapse here. Melon trying to get Davey, but the rest of the team taking him out.
Yeah,
the banner though coming out from Lenny's gonna help clear that out. So they trade the E pressure for what looks like a C cap.
It's the oldest trick in the book. Just go E and go back to C.
Exactly. Now the difference though is that you don't have disad on the side of IDM here, so they're not forced to take some harebrained climbing.
What's happening? Crump just got split in cats. The decap's going off almost uncontested.
Nines, Chalk, and Squid are just taking this for free. Crump climbed up. They did the climb again. They're going to use out this time, and now it's an exchange. Crump though goes in the other way, gets dropped. They're gonna find Squid, so no demos in this, but frags trading back and forth now in favor of IDM right here, and just a bad miscommunication, but Pater's coming in looking to salvage, gets the kill onto Chalk and Nines. Cat's the only one alive though!
It's complete chaos, but again, Blue, with red players being dead for so long, this cap is gonna eventually go in Blue's favor, even if it's only Leaf living to cap that. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. The combo from DK got split entirely. Crump was in spawn. The med was still in DE connector. The Uber couldn't go off for another 10 seconds or so.
We'll have one more fight. Crump coming in from hell, starting to get spam on. Gonna get the kill on to Townsy. Stays alive, gets the full pack. Hard Hat's the new challenger. Crump will lose that 1v1, however. They've stopped the cap time temporarily. Leaf now the only one on it. Lucky gonna get blasted into the pit. Melon trying to come in, get any air buzz she can, but it's not enough. Gonna see Brian now trying to get something. He's getting mobbed though, drops into the pit. He knows he's done. It's a wipe. And IDM coming in, clutching up when they need to. Colin, brother, I'm sorry. This wasn't the intention.
It was fun while it lasted.
I thought we'd get to celebrate your playoffs dreams, but some other good storylines here. IDM, we thought they were going to be 4th seed coming into the season, and they managed to pull it off. Not clearly not the way they imagined it, but they'll get through. And some revenge for some of the players on IDM.
Yeah, they have to be feeling pretty good about themselves there.
Absolutely,
DK kind of
yeah. A
looked
little
like
bit of
kind of looked like they were a little lost at times with their combo getting split up, or not having a very definite plan on offense. But IDM looked like they were pretty much always confident about what their next play was, even when things didn't go their way. Even when Hard Hat got picked off on the rotate to going behind, ABC still he only needed one. He only needs one.
Yep. And what I'm really, if you're DK, I'm extremely concerned about this because you beat Death or Exile last week, which gave you the potential to claim second seed, which gives you map ad against them. However, I'm gonna say you throw this match. That was a bad performance from them. I was very congratulatory of them last week. They played out of their mind. This week looked like an entirely different team. You give up second seed. It should be Death or Exile now taking second seed, which means DK's got third. And you've just proven you cannot play Steel. You know, Death or Exile, I think, even had a forfeit win this week, potentially, or they were playing against Pastas regardless. Good chance some of them are in the cast right now. You watch this, you say, oh, they can't play Steel. They don't know what they're doing. Now that's got to be one of your bans, and now suddenly you're giving up so much kind of map priority in those pick bans that things to me are DK. I thought they were riding high after last week, and doesn't take long for those fortunes to flip.
The highest high to the lowest lows.
So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see if DK would like to ban this map in playoffs, or if they think they're willing to adapt and try to pull off some new strats.
I love seeing new technology on maps. This whole try to climb D, I don't think is it. I thought it might work the second time because they had Uber this time, and then suddenly Crump and Cats get completely misaligned. Crump goes out the left side, Cats goes out the right, Crump gets dropped instantly.
Yeah, well, even before then, I just noticed all of a sudden that Crump was like towards spawn, and Medic was still hanging around E. He had maybe rotated alone, and his med didn't know. Which delayed their whole Uber exchange on D by maybe 10 seconds at least for the med to rotate back to where Crump was up top. Which gave Wu a lot of cap time. A lot of get more respawners in there as well. I don't know if it was the defining moment of the night, but it stuck out.
No, absolutely. And I mean, you gotta wonder then, you know, is DK just you look at their record, right? And their matches, because I think they dropped a half to Pastas on Swiftwater. You know, they get pretty strongly trounced on Steel, and then their only other stopwatch half I'm looking at was them losing to Worried Sick on Vigil. So they had a forfeit win on Upward. They barely beat Imposters on stopwatch.
Well,
they get swept out.
Swiftwater Imposters is kind of their specialty.
Right, but this is a team we're talking about as potentially second seed. Not only did they drop a half, I remember hearing that the other ones were close, and then they failed to take a round on Vigil and Steel. So they, you know, out of the 3 stopwatch maps they played, they got shut out in 2 of them, managed to barely beat the bottom team in the div in the other, and you're now moving into a playoffs where you don't have map advantage, plus anyone can force double stopwatch on you.
This is true. That's a good thing to keep in mind.
I think I'm looking at the invite table, and it looks like it's being sorted by match points right now, which actually puts IDM above DK, ironically. But I believe we can confirm that it will still be IDM 4th seed, Dreamybull's Kitchen 3rd. But presuming that both of the upper seeds win that first round, and it's hard for me to imagine Death or Exile losing against this version of DK so long as they ban product, IDM against DK in the lower bracket suddenly went from like, oh, congrats on making playoffs, IDM, like, you know, your guys' run is done here, to they're looking like a team that could place.
Yeah, I want to talk about. I don't want to rag on DK anymore. I want to talk about IDM. I think my MVP. You know, I think my MVP is Hard Hat and Davey C. They got the teleporter action going. Davey C came from behind twice and was very instrumental in the collapse. He got the med kill. It might have even been a drop. Don't quote me on that. But that was instrumental in getting the B push. And then from there, IDM had no problem just keeping the ball rolling through the remaining points.
Yeah. And I mean, part of, I think, being, the engineer on Steel is, we don't know exactly what their comms are, but, like, you got to play in a way that lets your team play around you. Hardhead did that in that he basically got them the first half for free, it feels like. And then in the second, they were able to still just put enough pressure on there. You see people still coming in from behind, able to get those flanks in onto B, and they're just able to gradually push it along. And I mean, just those, I'm going to have nightmares about those D plays. Well, that said, I think we're about wrapping up here. So give a quick shout out to the RGL merch shop. The LAN series is in there, as is the Winter series. So those go to supporting your league and your LAN, which is happening incredibly soon, within 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that. We will have first round of playoffs next week, and then there will be a break after first and second week to allow for the LAN. You can catch your boy there. Be casting some sixes. May have seen me on some of those streams. Dolphin, we got any sixes matches this week? Tuesday, Wednesday, and 2 on Thursday. So very possible you'll see me on one of those as well, as I look to familiarize myself with the game mode and the teams in advance of LAN. But Colin, any shout-outs before we go? I know this was probably a melancholy experience for you.
BBC.
Well said. Well said. And I mean, I'm fingers crossed you guys stick together, come back for next season, because I think this was as good of an invite debut as you can hope for. You guys did as much as you could, and ultimately it just, came down to IDM pulling out an even bigger upset. But it was great to see you guys. That Vigil cast is one of my favorite in recent memory. So appreciate all that you guys were able to do this season.
Yeah, I'm personally happy with going 3-3 in invites. Feels crazy to think about that. But
Give yourself the fourth win. It shows
yeah,
up on
okay,
the
sure,
team
like
page.
positive invite. Yeah, true. Yeah, VBC always comes back.
Good to know. We'll look forward to that. But I think that'll be it for us tonight. So thank you for watching. Congratulations to IDM for slipping into playoffs. And we'll see you next week.